Hey, West.
Welcome back to another episode of Chocolate Conversations Podcast, where we have real conversations that speaks directly to you. I'm your host, Keon Taylor, aka Key, joined alongside my co-host, the inspirational Dr. V, and last but not motherfucking least, the myth, the legend, my brother, Hafiz Stokes, baby.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Man. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Doing good.
Really well.
Good
good,
weekend?
man.
Week going good?
Yeah. We made it here, man.
Hey, we made it, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, we got a good show for you guys. But before we get into that, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this video, share this video, comment on this video. Let's get into this. We got a hell of a topic for them today. This topic has been talked about for a long time. Sometimes we get it confused. Sometimes we don't get it confused. Sometimes we just need to know our place or where we at, depending on the situation. I don't know, upbringing, all that.
Yeah.
Gender roles. Gender roles. That's been a big controversy about who stands, what's what. So before we get started with the topic, I'm going to read the definition of what a gender role is because for people out there that don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Gender role, the role or behavior considered to be appropriate to a particular gender as determined by prevailing cultural norms. Let that sink in, guys. So I'm gonna start with you, Dr. V, and I'm gonna work my way over, and then I'm gonna end it with me. So what does gender roles mean in 2023? Like, what does that look like? Because it seems like everybody has their own perspective of what that is. I'm gonna start with the doctor. 2024. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'll say gender roles, it can mean a variety of things to different people because everybody's perception and perspectives is different based on their experiences. Definitely also it depends on how they were raised, right? That has I've noticed when me and my friends, female friends and male friends, when we have these conversations about gender roles and go back and forth about it, I noticed the definitions and opinions vary from how people were raised. So for me, I'll speak for myself, gender roles, it means to me like how my parents, to me, it was traditional. That's what I grew up in. My parents are still married, be 47 years this year in August. They're still married. My dad is the breadwinner. He and my mom, she worked in pharmaceuticals, but my dad, he was the breadwinner, the head of the household. He retired her early, and so now that even though she doesn't work anymore and he still owns his own business, she runs the household as far as cooking, cleaning, all those things, handle the finances. But they switched because when she was in her career in pharmaceuticals, it was kind of shared, and they both raised the kids and everything like that. But once she retired, it did shift more to the traditional gender roles, which I don't know she's really used to because she's act like she's tired sometimes. But so for me, I am in past relationships, I definitely in future relationships, I would love for my future husband to be the head of the household and everything like that. As far as finances, to me, it doesn't matter if somebody makes more because I would still want him to be the head of the household. And the traditional just aligns to me because I love to cook. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to want to cook every night and everything like that, but I do like to clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So I love to clean my house now. I like to cook, and I would hope that it would be shared responsibilities. But some of those typical traditional woman roles, I actually like doing. So that's what it means to me.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Dr. V, because like I was telling Hafiz just the other day, it's about modern versus traditional, and it's amazing. It's funny how you said holding on to those traditional values, because that works for me, versus in today's world, it's like, hey, some women don't want a man to be the head of the household, or they feel like, you know what, maybe I make more than my husband, so maybe it has to shift a little bit. And a lot of people are just adapting to the new norm. But let's shift it over to you, Hafiz Stokes. 2024, when you look at gender roles, what does that mean to Hafiz? What does that even look like?
Man, it's like both parties wearing both hats. But I'm gonna just take a step back and think about it just where we got where we are now. Me personally, when you think, just kind of picking back off your initial opening statement, gender roles are specifically what men and women were brought on this earth to do for each other, to cohabitate for each other. That's the initial what gender roles. I mean, of course, you fast track beyond caveman and cavewoman times where we have modern technology and modern luxuries, where some of those dynamics have kind of shifted now. More people can kind of take care of themselves without the guidance of a man or the nurturing of a woman. So fast track now to where we're at in 2024, you got both parties kind of wearing both the gender roles. And probably even more now with women, because a lot of women are head of households, especially with children. And I just think that now, like you said, with the traditional and modern, a lot of those ideals are kind of clashing now, especially as we see now with the dating spectrum. And as a man going through this, and that's why I mentioned earlier how everybody complains about how dating is. That's the ultimate outline of what we're dealing with, is the clashing of modern lifestyle, wanting traditional ways in dating, and that's clashing now. So I think us as singles just try to find the best avenue for you, maneuver and evolve into what situation work best for you, and and just communicate with whoever you're dating. So.
And that's a great point you made, Hafiz, because I do feel like, finding someone who balances you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Understanding that, hey, maybe I do well with this. Maybe she does better with this.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point I want to bring up. Why do people have a problem with gender roles today? Sacrifice versus submission. And what I mean by sacrifice versus submission, when it comes to us men, sacrifice. Yeah. I'm sacrificing for my family. I'm breaking my back. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm sacrificing. But then, on the other hand, as we're sacrifices, we want the woman to submit. But then a woman will have an issue with, okay, why am I submitting? I work, I do this too. So how do we find that balance? You know what I mean? Sacrifice and submit, because let's keep it a being. Some women can say, okay, I sacrifice too. I'm a single mother with kids. I'm sacrificing what I'm doing too. But then the man say, hey, I'm sacrificing too. So now we saying we equal. So if we equal, wouldn't you think gender roles would be more attractive? I would think. Okay, since we both equal, okay, how do we balance each other out? What do y'all think about that?
Well, I mean,
I'll let you go.
This goes back to how the world, especially here in America, where we've civilized the world so that a lot of the gender roles have kind of shifted, where we have more modern technology, more modern advances. People can kind of take care of themselves. Where they like a woman can raise children without really not necessarily needing guidance from a man right now. She can wear both the hats, which I'm not saying that's always a good thing or a bad thing. It's just modern technology and things have shifted gender roles.
Interesting point. Dr. V, let me ask you this. Do you think deep down inside, majority of women want a man to submit to, want those gender roles, want kind of how you described it as far as how you saw your parents growing up, head of household and all? Do you think deep down inside most women want that, versus women saying that they are the head of household because they have to be? Do you think deep down inside women really want that?
Yeah. And I don't like to speak for everyone, but I do believe that deep down inside they do, because a lot of women, if you talk to them, single mothers, they were forced to be in that position, and they had to just stand up, stand 10 toes down, and handle business, right? But that doesn't mean they wouldn't want help, or I do know for people that I've spoken to where they were forced to be in that position, and then a great guy comes along and helps. That's a transition period of okay, he's here now. Let me let go. And actually, it's refreshing to them or relieved because they don't have to make the decisions or think about everything. And if it's the right guy, I always say this, right? And we're taught, especially women who have strong relationships with their fathers or any male figure that they see as their father, we're taught at an early age that we should not, as women, submit to any guy. And so we need more men to stand up and know how to be a leader and to be the head of household, because that can be an issue, right? And then you would see some more women submitting. But we do have a problem because these days, because how society has transformed and is very different from how our parents were raised, you have some men who they don't mind being taken care of. They look for sugar mamas. They'll let the wife or the woman handle everything, and they don't mind that. And it's like, so why would a woman submit to that if he doesn't want to lead or is immature or it doesn't want to be accountable for decisions in the family and things of that nature? So we're not going to be submissive to any man. And I think men need to understand that, because a lot of men scream from the mountain saying women should be submissive, but they don't exhibit the characteristics themselves.
What do you think about that?
And I get your point in what you're saying in that. But there's a flip side to the coin. There's always a flip side to the coin.
Go there.
That in order for a man to do that, we want to protect. We want to make sure that the woman that we're protecting and providing provision for gives us, most important, respect us, and makes us feel as a leader to make it worthwhile for us to sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, as a man, it's in our nature to be sacrificial for not only the woman that we're dealing with, but our kids and our family in most cases. Now, I know there are some broken situations, but in any stable nuclear situation, I know I can speak, for example, like my father. I'm pretty sure in your father, most fathers who are with their families would be sacrificial for their family and their kids.
And I actually saw that growing up. I saw my stepdad. He worked a ton of hours. My mom worked too, but I saw my mom did the cooking. She hang the clothes up on the clothesline and everything. Yeah. But they balanced each other and they did it with a smile. It was respect. And just as a little boy, me seeing that, I'm like, okay, that's what's up. I want to run my household like that. I'm not saying that it's not other ways to do it, but I always wonder, like, okay, what changed? What brought upon something different, or you know what I mean?
And that's understandable getting to the relationship. So that makes sense. We know that is important to you guys to be respected, and we us that we were created to be the helpmates, right? And so really understanding, when a woman really understands what that means, we know how to pour into and give you all those things. But I'm talking about also in the dating, because you brought up dating. And so even in dating, most women, when we're dating, we can tell certain characteristics when we're getting to know somebody. Nah, he's not gonna leave me. Because if we're observing. So that's what I'm talking about. So I do agree. When you get to the relationship, but even before we get there, it's like in dating, I know for me, because you said it's about knowing who we are and everything like Absolutely. That, and what works best for us.
Oh, yes.
I know in dating if a man can lead me or not. Without me even saying anything. I'm observing. Again, certain characteristics.
And that's going to bring me to my next question. Do y'all think when it comes to gender roles and what that looks like and what that means to the individual, when we go on these dates or we meet people on these dating apps, should those conversations be had when dating? Because I do feel like when people go out, they're having a good time, they get caught up with the fat ass, she get caught up with the swag. Should we have those conversations and keep it a being versus saying, okay, I'm just gonna keep it player, you know what I mean, so I can get the chick, or I'm gonna look cute and stuff and get the guy, but what are we talking about? So I just want to get y'all perspectives on it. Do you feel like a conversation should be had when getting to know people and dating these people?
I'll say this. I mean, it's good to have that conversation, but if it just all happens naturally, organically, like the woman is already just participating in her feminine gender role and the guy as well, it's a beautiful thing. And the conversation don't even need to be had. Like, you just get it.
I will say, yeah, the conversations need to be had because everybody, again, it's different to everybody. And I know some people, it's a few people that were married and they realized they didn't have those conversations until like their second year of marriage, when they were having issues about gender roles. And then that's what made me, and we had these discussions like with, you know, a couple of my married friends, and I was like, wow, I need to make sure I'm asking or convey to the person I'm dating, you know, this is what it means to me. What does it look like for you? Because it can look different for everyone. And I think communication is important to understanding what it means to that person.
You know what's crazy? I agree with both of you guys because I understand where you're coming from when you say, you know what, naturally she's just going to automatically be that, and I'm like, if we just rock with each other. But then you're saying a closed mouth don't get fed. You got to say something. And I've been in a situation before where I'm dating a female, and I'm assuming she should already know what it is, but she said, well, I didn't know. I just because the last guy she been with, he didn't require that.
Because every guy is different.
So I had to you know, break it in real quick, and then we turned over a new leaf after that. But I get what you're saying too. Yeah. Some people just get it. Some people you go into it, hey, they right there. They just
know it because
that's not always the case.
No, it's not always the case, but different people can bring different energies and elements out of you, right? So when you dealing with a particular woman and she adores you and the guy adores you, if they're naturally just in their gender roles, that's such a beautiful thing. And I would say most married couples probably had that same transition in their dating stages, hence why they married now.
But no, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying that's the case, but I would say that probably happened in that.
People who have not had the conversation before marriage, it became a problem in their marriage. Well, because they didn't have the conversation, they just assumed. But it's and come to find out, they were both raised differently. One of them, their parents were still together. One of them wasn't. So they both had demanding careers, and they didn't have kids yet. And then, you know, when you have kids, then things change. So it's beautiful when it does happen like that, and I'm sure it does. But in most cases, because society, it has changed so much, it's just easier to just have a conversation.
Do y'all feel like when it comes to gender identity, or even just gender roles and where you fit in on the equation, that a lot of it is family background and upbringing? Because, for an example, we come from a two-parent home, but then you take a female over here who comes from a one-parent home, and maybe she ain't seen that. She just saw her mom just make miracles. She don't know what it's like to come home and I'm submitting to a man. I'm doing this for you. I'm trying to do this for me. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, you know, how do you deal with that kind of woman versus a woman like V, where hey, she come from a two-parent, she get it. You know what I mean? Or do you not deal with it?
Yeah. I mean, it is just kind of your background, how you're raised. I'll give you a point on that. And if you don't see it initially, then maybe, a conversation needs to be had in the dating stages. What are your ideals on that? You know, like you said, effective communication. Because you're right. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. Not everyone is fortunate to come from two-parent household, or at least have the dynamics of a mother or a father figure consistently in the household, so they don't see it, they don't witness it, and they come out here in the dating market just winging it, figuring it out. Like, what? Submit to a man? And they only know one thing. They only taught that this is what a man is supposed to do because I learned this from my mama, I learned this from my daddy, or I learned that this is how I treat women because I came from this, or I saw my mama do it from my mama or my father or whatever. I mean, if it comes to those kind of situations, then I guess a conversation could be had. But if you're exposed to it initially when you're dating, it's such a beautiful thing.
I'm gonna challenge you guys real quick. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I'm gonna just throw you guys on the spot, and I can answer it first.
Yeah.
Are men and women equal, or are we a puzzle piece? We complement each other. You know, and I'm team. We complement each other because I feel like there's some things that women can do. I can't do. I can't carry a child for 9 months. It's maybe she know how to put the cheese on the side and put together a meal I can't even do. So I'm never gonna say women are equal to men. I'm not sexist or anything. I'm gonna say we're a puzzle piece. We complement each other. But people have different views on that. But I want to challenge you guys and get in your most pure, authentic way. Are men and women equal? And I'm gonna go with you, and we're gonna end with Dr. B with that.
The only thing that's equal between us as human beings is opportunity in life. But we are held to different societal standards. There's a reason why there are double standards in life that affect men and women differently. We're just held to different societal standards. So, like you said, we are puzzle pieces that fit each other.
Yeah, I like that.
I agree. I like to compliment each other because I always like to say, teamwork make the dream work. So, it's better when you're building together and you're complimenting each other, bringing out the best in each other, pouring into each other. So, yeah.
I like that. Good stuff. So I'm asking you a question, Hafiz, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to go to Dr. V. And I think V kind of alluded to it a little bit. Okay. What's the perfect household gender role situation for you? If you had to craft the perfect gender roles, if you're dealing with a special young lady for Hafiz.
We talking about now or like back in the
No. Current terms.
Okay.
What's the perfect if we talking about gender roles? What's the perfect gender role situation for Hafiz personally? Yeah. And you may even take a little, because some people take a little bit from their parents, and then they take a little bit what they do and make it. But if you had to craft the perfect situation, what would that look like for you?
Man, absolutely. You hit it right there. I would probably mirror my how my parents have their relationship. My father, he works hard. In this day and age, you kind of need two incomes. You need both parents working, and especially now with more women working, educated, getting degrees, getting, they can work and make money just as much as men. So, which is perfectly fine, as long as there's a respect level. In my whole ideal situation, I would be the breadwinner. My wife would be working if she wants to work. I would take care of course, the major family bills, the major family responsibilities. She can take care of maybe smaller stuff or handle the savings or trips or miscellaneous stuff. But me, as a man, I would take care of most of the family financial load. Okay. If she wanted to work, like she don't have to work if she wanted to work, but if she has skill set, education to go out there and to get a bag, then that's more income for the family, and we can do things, and they can pass that on down to our kids and legacy. That's what other communities are doing. So, and it's just we coexist together. I respect her. She know I'm going to provide. I'm going to be the protector. She, the S word, but most of all, she's just cooperative and knowing that I'm gonna go out there and be the best version of my man I can be, and I'm gonna build the house, she's gonna make it a home, and when I come home from a long day of work, she's gonna make sure that everything is safe. That way I can lay my head and do what I need to do, tend to the kids, and wake up each morning and go out here and compete with the best of men out here. That's what we have to do. I have to go out here and compete with the best of men. And when I come home to my house, I wanna make sure that it's a safe space, that I can just relax, tend to my wife, tend to the kids, go to sleep, and go back out and compete again.
I'm going to challenge you on something. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, what if you come across a woman you really, really love?
Okay, hit me.
And she
with
say,
it.
you know what? You ain't the only breadwinner in this house.
I
ain't the only one cooking in here. You ain't finna just be out here playing Batman, and I'm here doing. I feel you, but hey, we're gonna have to split this on some form of fashion. I'm just saying, what if she challenges you?
Okay.
In that way, then what do you do? If she say, you know what, I feel you, but look, we're gonna have to shift a couple things because I feel where you coming from traditionally, but modern me, you know what I mean?
I get you.
Because she may be a modern, she may be a good woman, but this may be more modernized a little bit. She may not come from that traditional home you come from. So how do you balance that, or do you just take time out, just like, okay, let's find some common ground in the middle?
Well, first I would try to figure out that mindset beforehand, before she makes you my wife.
The conversation,
that's
back
where
to
the-
what
that's
V
where-
was
that's where
alluding
the-
to.
That's where the conversation, finding out the background. If that gender role is not initially organically there, then going back to your point, having that conversation, kind of feeling out how do you feel about that, especially if you think it's going to get something serious.
Okay.
And the one thing I tell a lot of women, just what comes with working and making money like a man, that I quote the old movie line, with great power comes great responsibility.
Always.
So when you earn like a man, or earn in the careers where they would be deemed provider male type of roles, it comes with a great responsibility that, you may be put in a breadwinner situation, or depending on your standards, that there may not be no men around in that corner. So you just got to take the good with the bad, But I mean, it's possible to make it work. Other communities have done it. That's what I say. You just
So
take
for you would make it work?
Like I said, I would do my probing and vetting beforehand to see. But
and I'm only asking that because I know because we could say what the perfect household would look like, but sometimes you may come across a person that may work for you, but then they may have a completely different idea, and being able for them to kind of buy into yours and you buy into theirs, because it is two people coming together. So that's why I was questioning that, because sometimes you don't know who you're gonna end up with fully.
Right.
You know,
But
I
I can say this: how we know women's instinct, they will love an ideal situation like that, regardless of their income status. If a man took care of most of the major financial load and they handle other miscellaneous things, regardless if we both, let's say she makes 6 figures, I make 6 figures, and we both, I mean, as long, like I'll say in a situation like that, as long as it's fair, in some cases, fair, and it works for you. Don't listen to what society or social media says about who makes this or makes that. As long as it works for you and your family and your household, regardless of if y'all both make the same income or she makes a little bit more than you, as long as you can make it work. At the end of the day, that's what I would say.
What about you, Dr. V?
Can you repeat the question, please? You're saying perfect situation?
Yeah. Perfect idea,
ask the
house
couple.
situation, and if he has a different ideology than you, as far as that, how do you balance that?
So I guess perfect situation would be for him to be the provider, protector, and everything. But I'm one of those women that educated, a boss in my career. So, I'm not going to be a stay-at-home mom. That's just not unless I hit the lottery or something and we got a lot of, but, I'm not going to be a stay-at-home mom, right? And so for me, I do like what you said, because even if, a woman who is very successful financially, they do want a man to be able to that's what I compliment
them. Yeah.
pay like most of the bills, or that would be the ideal situation or something like that. And I love to cook, so at least help with the cooking, but I don't mind that. Cleaning, you gotta help, but you know what I mean? It's certain things or whatever. Certain things, it's like, okay, you take out the trash and different things like that or whatever. But again, I like doing certain things, but it doesn't mean, but for dating, and I notice with me, because I'm very clean, I've noticed in past relationships, I'm like, nah, I know this wouldn't work for me, because he's not,
Been
stop.
there. Dating somebody, you be like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to call all
I had to
men,
scratch
but
the head a little bit.
y'all got a different cleaning idea of cleaning than
So
women.
it wouldn't matter if he's a high earner, just he meets
I
your
can't
income
live with a
threshold.
slob. I can't. Because my home that's where you go to escape the world. That's your sanctuary. And it's like, I like it clean and not like you can eat off the floor clean, but y'all been to my house and I got dogs. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just, it doesn't work for me if he was the ideal person and he was a slob. I'd be like, oh, no. Because again, we got to look at, when we're thinking of marriage, we got to look at how am I going to be 10 years, 20 years from now? Not just 1 year or just in the moment.
But let me ask you guys this. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? Now I'm going somewhere with this. Say if we talking gender roles, right? And we talking perfect situation, and say they really are good. She's a good woman. He's a good man. Can a Negro be taught how to be what you want them to be. If they not that yet, but they have the potential, or you say, you know what, damn, he has da-da-da-da-da, he's just a slob. Can a Negro be taught how to be that clean guy you're looking for versus being like, oh, he don't have it, so cross that out, you're done, next. What do y'all think about that? Can you teach an old dog new tricks?
Can you teach a woman to cook if she don't know how to cook? And that's what you want, Hafiz?
But this is where you
respectfully,
look, you might have pulled me a little bit more of that.
I'll put you a little bit more of that.
Can you teach her how to feed you if she don't know what to do in the kitchen?
Look, this is why you find all this stuff out in the dating phase. In the dating phase.
So my point is right. It rings true. We gotta have these conversations.
If you don't see what you like as far as the gender roles, organically.
Yeah.
Right.
But you still like the person, you still feeling them, then you start asking these questions, you start vetting and doing all that, everything else. And you start addressing things like, hey, you a little bit of a pigsty up in here, or when you gonna cook something, babe? Like, I ain't seen you touch the stove or nothing. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm tired of eating this processed food or whatever, Yeah, I mean, then that's when you kind of have those conversations, then you figure out, before you, take it even further, I guess to kind of answer your question, can you teach a dog new tricks? I mean, you can try to train them, but if they ain't getting it, then I mean, maybe you might have to figure out what your next game plan gonna be.
And I feel like it really depends on their age, because when you get a certain age bracket, we set in our ways. It's like comfortable.
And my point with that is everybody ain't gonna have it all,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and maybe it's one of those situations where certain things I will make an exception for, and certain things I won't make an exception for, depending on what's important to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or his or her level of attraction too. That's just a little kicker, right?
But you got some guys that are, if she's foreign, but it goes back to pretty privilege though. Is the more attractive a person is, the less gender role specific they are? Because I mean, does the beauty and how good they look play into the gender roles? Does that matter?
I'm gonna just say this. This is for men and women. It
matters to me. I don't care how good you look.
For some guys, and women too, the level of attraction that they have for the person, some of that stuff can get swept under the rug, maybe, or you may tolerate a little
initially, right? Because that's where it goes.
And some long term too.
Yeah, because that's when you get into the long term where it's been a battle, and then we had divorce because again,
that comes
looks
with some time and age too.
Yeah.
When you're older, you might not tolerate some of that stuff, regardless how they look. But in your younger days, you may she just so fine, or he just so I just love him, and
Let me ask y'all a question. I'm gonna get on something. Expectations. The reason why I say expectations is because in the modern dating world, sometimes we act like we got amnesia when we don't really understand the expectations. Like for an example, the other day I was talking to my cousins and I told them the topic that we're gonna talk about today, just the topic we're gonna talk about. I was like, shoot, if I have a girl, if we're at home, I want her to go in the kitchen and make daddy a sandwich. You know what I mean? She's like, daddy a sandwich? What you mean make daddy? I want her to make daddy a sandwich. And she said, why she got to make you a sandwich? I said, okay, case in point. When we out and about, we at a restaurant.
I know exactly where you going.
Is it expected of me to open the door for you?
Yes.
Is it expected for me not even allow you to touch your car door? When it comes to most of the time, the bill, I got it, baby. I got this bill. I got it. So why is it an issue that if we're at home and I say, make daddy a sandwich, why is that an issue?
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you guys elaborate a little bit on that. But with the or is that having too high of expectations when it comes to gender roles? Because we say gender roles, but then when you really think about it, let's keep it real. When we at the crib, 9 times out of 10, she probably gonna cook. When we out and about, when it comes to getting the bill and stuff, 9 times out of 10. The man gonna get it for the most part. Yeah. Of course, it depends on the understanding of what both people have together. But some people lose sight of that though. But I would think, give to get. It's a thing. Why is there friction in that?
Yeah. I've said this before.
What you said?
And I just said a minute ago about one of the reasons why, especially nowadays, and I don't know why it's just such an issue in our community. It's just like this pull and tug war with us. It's just like it's a clash with modern living and traditional values, man. A lot. I see it sometimes in a lot of situations where women are living a modern, which is great. You live in a modern lifestyle. You're working. You're doing things. You don't need a man. But when it comes to the things that in your favor as far as traditional, you still want those traditional values, especially when it comes to dating and the aspects of being around a man. A man still, and as a man, we still have to be a man regardless of the fact. Like men have pretty much stayed the same. We always work, pay bills, do what we need to do. And we've just evolved how women have evolved over time, from women being at home to now in the workplace. And I think a lot of those ideals have clashed in the dating market, where modern lifestyle, but yet still want traditional dating men values. And that's just really one of the biggest things, and especially prevalent in our community. I mean, it's across all races and gender, all races and communities, but it's such a pull and tug of war in our community, where we even having conversations like this, where you see different social media memes where people don't want to be taking this place, or I can do this. It's just, like you said, just finding that common balance in with all of that, and having communication, what works for you and don't work for you.
You said something interesting. You said some women say, I don't need no man. Mm-hmm. V, where does that come from? Because I feel like we're stronger together. I feel like we need each other. I think a good woman will elevate a man. I think a good I think a good man will elevate a woman, and I think we balance each other out. But sometimes I feel like we act like we don't need each other, when sometimes I feel like we need each other the most. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about it. Where does that shit come from? Is that media? Is that music? Is that just a household? Because a lot of people are coming from single parent situations, and their mom said, "Don't depend on no man. Don't do this, or fuck these hoes." Yeah. Where is that coming from? Why do we act like we don't need each other? Help me to understand that more.
So that comes from, I believe, from hurt and not being healed from past experiences and everything like that. And then again, some people are put in situations, if if a mom has been a single mom for like most of her life, then she has developed that mentality like, I don't need a man. I want one, but maybe I don't need them because I've had to operate in this fashion and I made it thus far, out of survival mode. Mm-hmm. And again, when you talk to a lot of single moms, they don't want to be in that. They would prefer to have help, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of things that can play into that. I don't say that, I don't say that. Definitely want a mate and want somebody, because for me personally, I've done a lot of work from being healed from past experiences or growing, where when I was younger, I might have thought that, right? So, but I also want to go back to your question, because I really didn't get to answer your other question.
We're gonna get to absolutely.
But so when you were talking about opening the door, that's chivalry. So I don't know, is that, y'all consider that's tied to a man should do that? Because I see that as
it depends on the woman, but I've been involved with women when they said, chivalry. I saw my dad do it. I shouldn't have to touch a door. I shouldn't have to, I was talking to this one girl. She was like, my dad. She said she came from a household where her dad said a woman should never come out of pocket. She should never come out of pocket. As a man, you got it. You know what I mean? Okay. You always open the door for a lady. You always be the man. If a man gonna be a man. So, but I've also came across some woman that said, "Hey, I don't need no man to open no doors for me. I don't need you to open no door. I can open up my own damn door." So it does depend on the person. But I'm just giving a correlation about, hey, what's wrong? I want my woman to make me a sandwich. Hey,
so that's good, because it's balanced.
Yeah.
Thank you for providing more context, because I was like, it is different for everybody. Yeah. So for me, Dr. V, yes, I'm a daddy's girl. I need you to open the doors. Right. If we're in the car, do I have to look at you to ask you to pump the gas? There's certain things I could do it myself if I'm by myself. But yeah, I definitely would like to be treated a certain way. And and things of that nature. Now going back to we at home and you say, babe, can you make me a sandwich? Sure thing. Now, what if I'm tired? I'll be like, okay, give me a minute or something, or
Cool, baby.
or can I? How about this? Can I order you some food? Because again, it goes back to
Better than that.
It goes back to if the woman is a boss, that's where these conversations
true.
come in. Because even though I love cooking, I don't cook every night because I might be on the work till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's like,
You're
but
a boss.
I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna have food. Let me order, or let's discuss it. Or babe, tonight, can you take care of the food? You know what I mean? I love to communicate. So it's gonna be. It won't be so much tension, or the man is feeling neglected. Because I've noticed this with men, especially the men who love for a woman to cook for them. Y'all can easily feel neglected if those things aren't taken care of.
Absolutely.
I love what you said. If you worked all day and y'all come home, you expect your house to look a certain way, or expect it, But again, if the conversation ain't had, the woman's just like, well, the kids done messed up toward the house. I had it clean, things of that happens. Because again, and then when you're thinking about longevity, you go through different phases, especially when you have a newborn and stuff like that. So you do have to have those conversations, because as women, we would like the men to participate more with the kids too. Like, it's not always.
I ain't wiping no butts though. Okay, I ain't wiping no asses though.
So you ain't gonna change a diaper?
Hell. Okay, I'll wipe that. Okay, I'll wipe
You
the
ain't gonna
butt every
change a
now.
diaper?
I'll wipe the ass every now and then.
Okay, but you have to have that conversation, because if a woman if the baby's keeping y'all up all night and she's like, babe, tonight I need you to take care. Okay.
You might have to just give in on that one. Especially if you got like a woman that works too.
Yeah.
You might have to, do some of those daddy duties like that. So
Let me ask you this, V. Would it be a turnoff if you live with a guy, right, and he's not very handy? Because we talk about gender roles, we say, maybe you're domestic, but maybe he's not as handy. Say, baby, let's just hire the plumber guy to come out here and fix this shit. Or maybe he ain't good at cutting grass, or maybe he can't do assembly some furniture or whatever like that. Is that a turnoff, or is that kind of like, no, a man should be able to do that? He should be handy. He should be able to fix things.
I won't say it's a turnoff, because daddy don't kill me, but my dad is that ain't his forte. Okay. But guess what? He gonna call somebody to get it done, and he gonna pay the bill. Yeah. So again, it goes back to what we accustomed to, right? Yeah. So if that's not your forte, I think it is a turn on when a man does know how to fix things. My brother knows how to fix everything around the house. That's his, he's very handy with his hands, but that's not everybody's gift, because sometimes men's ego and pride, y'all will try to change a toilet or try to change, a faucet, and then cause the issue
make the issue worse.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's like when you could have just called somebody.
Yeah.
So long as you get it done,
just get it done.
Yeah. That's a great question, though.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this question. So, okay, so when it comes to gender roles, right? What's the deal breaker? What's the deal breaker? Give me when it comes to gender roles personally, and then we're gonna go around. We're gonna go to me, but I'm gonna start with Mr. Hafiz. Deal breakers.
I would just say, really, most men, when it comes to dealing with a woman, for however long the situation is, they just want respect, man. Just respect me as a man, and I'm gonna respect you as a woman. Because I know we live in a day and age now where not every woman knows how to cook like your grandma, and every man doesn't know how to fix everything like your uncle. So like you said, you can hire somebody to fix it, or you can just order out, So, but I think just mutually, just a respect level. Don't emasculate me. In our house, in front of the kids, don't embarrass me in front of our friends. When it comes to a man and his woman, he wants to feel like he has status around other people with his woman. So if a woman can make her man feel like he's the king of whatever the dwelling that they are, then that means the the more that means the merrier to the man.
So for you,
So that would be-
respect. So
yeah,
respect is the main thing. You have to be with
Yeah.
a woman. So that's kind of like so when we talk about gender roles, you said she that respect in me.
Yeah.
Respecting how
Making me feel like I'm
making you
still
feel like
a man.
you're appreciated. Because at the end of the day, we
appreciate
all
it,
just
yeah.
want to be loved and appreciated. Appreciate me,
it.
love me, respect
That's it.
me. Because I remember our uncle told me a long time ago, do you rather be loved or respected? Respected. I think respect is
Respected,
a powerful thing. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What about you, Dr. V? Deal breaker. You
Deal
give me a few
breaker.
of them if you want to. I just want to know what's your because it may be a young man out there watching like, damn, Dr. V is foreign. What's her deal breakers? Damn.
Well, the main one is not being a provider. And second would be protector, but definitely not being a provider. Because that's going to segue into a question I have later, but not being, I work hard, right? And that is, I don't want to speak about nobody, but just you look in society and you look that there's men these days, they do want to be taken care of. And sometimes women like myself and other women, I know women, when we are financially successful, certain men, we attract some men and they'll, I've had a dude, even just getting to know him within the first like few weeks, can you send me money for 2 tires? I'm like, what? I looked at my phone like, wait a minute, am I tripping? I know this dude did not just ask me for some money with 2 tires. Then of course I had to call my daddy and be like, Daddy, I know I ain't tripping. And so he was like, I hope you let him know what's up. And I said, of course I did. And he felt so bad, but I didn't emasculate him. I was respectful, but I was like, nah, you got the wrong. I don't move like that. Like you got me effed up. I don't move like that.
Is there a difference between a man being catered to versus being taken care of? Is there a big difference?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah. What's the difference? I'm just saying for people who don't know.
Okay, so
people get it confused.
So that's a question. From a woman, cater to is we're doing things for you. We admire, out of love, respect, or whatever. The respect comes a lot to it. We're be catered
I love to be catered to.
Yeah, that's different than providing is the woman is carrying a household or whatever the case may be. Now, if you're in a relationship in our marriage and he loses his job, that's different. But I'm talking about from the jump, you have a lot of dudes who are just lazy. Y'all have some friends that are lazy, okay? Y'all know it. They don't work as hard as you.
No snitching.
Yeah, and you don't gotta agree, but let's be real. A lot of people don't work like they used to. We know that. It's coming out of a COVID. That statistics is showing it. People just ain't working, and so they're looking for again about back to the dude asking for 2 tires. You didn't even ask for 4 tires. Who just gets 2? You said I need money for 2 tires.
It's almost like going to the gas.
He didn't even ask for 4.
It's like going to the gas station and say, "Let me get 2 on 2." You know what I mean?
When I get new tires, I get all 4 new tires on my truck. So I was confused by that.
He just needed 2.
Needed
He
2 tires.
He just needed 2. But that's what I'm saying.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
But can I ask my question?
Go ahead.
Because this comes up a lot amongst me and my female friends. So I got to get y'all the male perspective.
Okay.
Why do some men have a problem when the woman does make more than the man? And let me say this, and the woman respects you, doesn't belittle the person, puts them down, encourages them, pours into their dreams, and then the men still have a problem if the woman is more successful or makes more money.
Because as men, we're naturally prideful. We want to be respected. We want our woman to look up to us. So if she's making more, I'm not saying me or him, but a lot of men feel like, okay, well, since she makes more money than me, then maybe she thinks she's better than me, or he feels like eventually she's going to belittle me, or it's going to be an issue. He's not looking at it like, hey, we're building each other. Because I feel like you can always make more money. So if you make more money than a guy and he has an issue with that, step your game up. You know what I mean? You can always make more money. The focus should be getting with the right person. I mean, there's plenty of women out here that's with men that they make more money than, but at the end of the day, that's still her king. She still supports him and loves him. But as far as a man having an issue with it, that's his own insecurity, and and I feel like he should get help for that. But if it bothers him that much, You know, if it bothers you that much, hey, step your game up and make more money. But men are naturally prideful. We natural. We want to be the head. We want to be, hey, I'm the leader. I'm the commander. I'm the captain
lion.
of the ship.
I'm the king.
And here's the thing. And in his defense, every woman don't look at it like that. I've heard women say, hey, if I make more money than a man, I won't let him lead me. I've heard a woman say that before. Now, I'm not saying that's all women, and that may not be you. There's not a lot of Dr.
Definitely
B's
not
out
me.
here, but we
Definitely.
got to call it what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes a woman can look down on a man if he's not where he needs to be. You know what I mean? And then earlier you mentioned provider, and I was going to get into that too. What does that mean? Is that provider mean, hey, he can pay his own bills, he'll never ask me for anything. As long as he can still find his way and he can still make me happy, we good. You know what I'm saying? But I just think most of the reason why that happens is because it's just insecurity, pretty much. Because if a woman makes more money than me, I wouldn't care. But that just gives me motivation to step my game up. Hell, he may can learn from her.
Yeah.
Right.
Who knows?
I'm gonna just keep it real.
Keep it a bit.
It's leverage. When women have leverage in relationships like that, especially when it comes to earning more, they can terminate the relationship at any given moment.
Yep.
And having that over a man's head is like he walking on pins and needles.
So
all
that's
every
what
day.
they're thinking. The man thinking.
In some cases,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You walking on pins and needles. And then you can use that. And it's not even about income. Sometimes it can be about education and classism too. Like if you have
about
more
it.
degrees and certifications, or you just in a different social climate than that man. Let's say like you educate. You went to college and you say, and you're part of a college HBCU network. You date a guy that's not affiliated with any of that. He goes, you bring him out, and he's having conversations with people who are like black folks who went to school and college and HBCUs considered sometimes like the elite of black people. So he get around those folks, he will feel kind of somewhat emasculated sometimes, like having conversation, unless he knows how to fit in and all of that. But it's like you said, it goes back to our pride situation. A man's pride is tied to a lot of things: his wallet, his sexual organs, a lot, everything.
His respect,
everything.
all of that.
So, but that also goes back to my point too. Like when y'all earn these wages and earn like a man, sometimes it comes with responsibility. It may attract men who may not be on your level, because the men who are on that level sometimes may not necessarily, because they can date women who make that kind of money and less. Sometimes it sucks sometimes when you hire a woman that's a high earner, or a small percentage of women who earn what you earn.
But let me ask you this.
But wait, sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that, because
Yeah.
that happened to me with the whole education and classism before
Yeah.
I even like pursued my doctoral degree, because I could never understand why, because I'm so humble, right, and everything. I've never belittled a man, because I know God has a different path for everyone. That's how I've always been. So when I did get my doctoral degree, it got worse, and I could never understand why. But that's why I love a lot of the points
You know how the
you said,
percentage
because
of women
some
have
people would say
doctors?
it's because
Yeah.
the insecurity of a man where he was in his life. And I've had men come back and say that. It wasn't you, it was where
And at the end of the day, V, I'm gonna say it's going to a lot of things. It depends on the man who you come across, but I think one thing that a woman needs to understand too, when it comes to your degrees and your accomplishment, that's cool and all, strong. You know, you accomplish your things, but that's not as important to a man versus how you treat him and how you compliment him.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, we love your degrees. Yeah, we love your accomplishments. Yeah, that tells us a lot. We love your upbringing, beautiful family, and all that. But there's a reason why some millionaires may meet a woman who works at a diner, and she may become wifey because she may have certain skills, or maybe be conditioned to be in a certain relationship, or may have traditional values that complements him. It's about complimenting each other. That's why they say relationship, relate.
relatable.
Shunship.
Yeah.
That's why it's pronounced like that. But I think sometimes women say, okay, I got my degrees, I got this money, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, but if you meet a woman that have those degrees, even though she don't have to have that, she have her degrees and all that, but she's also feminine. She's also beautiful. She also knows how to treat a man. She knows how to make a man feel important, powerful, strong, whatever it is. And she can still check her ego at the door and still just be what she needs to be to that man and vice versa. Then I think that's when you have a winner.
Yeah.
And y'all will be able to tell when you can tell how she leads. I never lead with, this is all my accomplishment. Because I laugh when people come back and be like, you ain't tell me, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I don't, that's because it doesn't define
and
me.
you want to know what's so sad, though? Even when women do lead with that, as a black man understanding black women, I kind of get it, because when you're dealing with somebody who come from nothing, or you deal with somebody who maybe growing up, they ain't, I mean, maybe their parents didn't really accomplish too much, but for them to be able to do that and something to be proud of, a part of me get it, even though I feel like, damn, you don't have to lead with that, baby. Just bring your heart. Let me know who you really are. Let's see what we can do together. You ain't got to lead with that and throw it in my face or say, hey, I'm doing it, even though a part of me kind of get it, because we do come from nothing. When we, I think Kanye West said that.
I'm gonna just say this. This goes back to the point how, like, I'll say this as advice to a lot of women when they're on single shows talking about themselves. Don't lead with your job and your career. If you want to attract the men that you're desiring, lead with how feminine you are, how I can cook. I mean, if you want to talk about how freaky you are, that's cool too. But men don't give a damn about your degrees, your high-powering jobs, and all of that. Like, let me tell you, for example, this is how men and women brag when they're meeting and talking to their friends, and when they like saying how I got a hot date or I'm meeting up with this guy or girl. Yeah. When women brag, they say, I'm meeting up with this doctor. Yep. I'm meeting up with this VP at this bank. And he drive this, he drive that. And he wears suits, he's 6'2", he got this, he got a nice crib. Yeah. Successful things. Men are success objects. How men brag when they say, I'm getting up with this girl, they say, oh, she cute, she got a nice body, long hair, soft skin. What they talk about? They don't talk about, oh, look, what, imagine me going to you talking about, Key, I can make this girl, man. It's like, you say, how you describe her? Like, man, she got her master's. she a lawyer, she a DA.
In my mind, I say, okay, that's cool enough.
What she look like?
How she treating the kiddo?
Exactly.
How she treat my
visuals.
But that brings me to my next point. That's
good.
Damn.
That's
but
good
it brings me to my next point when it comes to gender roles and staying. Are we more into what a person is versus who they are? Why we put so much emphasis on what a person is versus who they are?
Society is more concerned on what the person is, because I remember when I used to live in Maryland for like almost 8 years, and a lot in DC, that area is known. One of the first couple questions people ask are, what do you do, and who do you know? Just like in LA, I have friends who lived in LA. What do you do? And same in Atlanta. What do you do? Who do you know? What you trying to do? So yeah, but I am more concerned on who the person is, because that matters to me.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of people say, man, he's 6'2", or she got a fat ass and stuff like that. But it's like the person.
I think that changes as naturally as we get older and get like our standards and things that we look for change. Maybe more so when we're younger, we would look at more materialistic things or more visual things. But as we get older and we get, like you said, more intentional with what we want, we start looking at things a little more deeper, more organic, who the person is, because we're dating intentionally. We're not just dating in our 20s for fun, have a good time, or the experience. So I think it just comes over time.
And it's interesting because I thought the same thing, but I agree with that. And then also depends on the location, because again, with the three cities I named, it's big, like politics is in DC, the film industry and everything, LA and Atlanta. So people who live there, they say it's so hard for them to meet friends, to have genuine friendships. And it's not based on what I do or who I know and what can I do for someone. And so it doesn't even matter the age. So that's why it's like some people avoid those certain areas because they're like, nah. And I know people who've moved away from LA because they were like, it's too fake. It's not about genuine, And shout out to the people who live in LA. We love you, but let's be real. That's how the environment is there in certain cities.
Yeah, I mean, in major metropolitan cities, you're gonna find it, and especially with modern times now and so much access to stuff, you're gonna see a deregulated dating market in major metropolitan. Even here in Charlotte, you're gonna find issues in dating. People's attention span is so quick. People have unrealistic, delusional reality of their options, especially in major metropolitan cities where there's so many people, where people can feel like they can replace the next man or next woman just like that. I mean, it's just what it is. That's why when I hear people, like I hear men and women talk about the complaints of, somebody once said, if you got a solid relationship, don't move to Atlanta. Don't move to Atlanta. Don't move to Houston. Like, if you got a committed relationship, don't move to these cities because your relationship could be in jeopardy. Now, if you firm, strong, sure. But I mean, these are major metropolitan cities. They got professional black people, professional people, beautiful people, even in LA, all these cities. So I mean, it's you're gonna find what it is, issue, especially if you're trying to find something, real and intentional. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. You just may have to dig a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and while you guys tuning in to our show, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, make sure you hit the comment button, all of that stuff as we continue to give you guys a good show. So I have one more question for you guys before we segue into, hot topic of the day. Okay. You already know how Faith's gonna hit you with that, but make sure you guys hitting that like button, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. So one more question I'm gonna ask you guys. In a world where we have more access, in a world where we can hire pretty much anybody to do anything we want them to do, in a world where we don't really need anybody, do we still need each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were created for relationships.
Yeah.
And relations. Yeah. So yes, we should need and want each other. Not by any means necessary, right? And do the work. If you have a lot of, because we all have a lot of issues, but if you haven't worked through those problems and different things, have a healthy mindset, have a healthy how you relate to people, talk to people, and everything of that nature. Do the work on yourself. A lot of people, I've always say this, some people don't always have that downtime coming out of bad relationships to cleanse from that and look back and what have I learned from that and just take stock. We should always do an inventory of ourselves. Somebody always said that. Look at ourselves in the mirror and okay, how can I improve myself? Because we're always gonna all fall short, right? Nobody's perfect. So, but yeah, we definitely most need each other.
I agree with that because here's the thing. If I'm hungry, I can order DoorDash. If I need my house clean, I can get a cleaning lady to come by and clean, right? If I need my grass cut, I can hire a guy to cut my grass. Mm-hmm. But it's nothing like waking up next to somebody you can talk to, you can pray with, hold your hand, be there to support you through everything, pray with you, go to church together, sharing things together. I feel like that's the ultimate reward. And I feel like if more people understand that, I think we'll be better as a society. We'll have more black love, more black families, more people getting married at higher rates. But I think if we focus more on that, we'll be better off instead of acting like, hey, we don't need each other. I mean, of course, I'm sure I can drive a car with my feet. It doesn't mean it should be done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, I just want to just kind of piggyback off what you were saying. I mean, I know we live in a, first world country, more civilized, modern technology where it's kind of, and then we have this gender war sometimes where it's kind of separating us. But initially, we need each other. It's a beautiful thing when a man and a woman can be together and cultivate and cohabitate. That's what we were put on this earth for, to be helpmates of each other. And it's just now we live in modern convenience where we, like you said, we can get somebody to do that. We can get somebody to do that.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, to have that support system, to have someone, because we all gonna get old. We all gonna get old, and you need somebody to take care of you. So
that's great. Well, man, I appreciate that, man. Great points. But let's go ahead and segue till Chocolate Conversations hot topic of the day. Hafiz, man, I already know, man. Okay. The hypocrisy, the fuckery. Let us know what's going on out here in these streets,
I think
man.
I told y'all about this one earlier, just real quick. The mogul, legendary in our music culture, Russell Simmons, the Russell Simmons.
Russell
There was a viral video going on with he was having a conversation back and forth with his daughter. His daughters are grown now. I just remember when they were like little girls walking on the runway with their mom.
Okay.
So she was having a conversation going back and forth with her father, basically trying to manipulate the situation a little bit to get more of an allowance, more money in her allowance, or less she would find a sugar daddy. And in that whole conversation, of course, you as a father, you don't want your daughter to do anything like that. And then he pulled the V card, asked her if she was still virgin, all this and that. So that got a lot of traction and viral and in social media. A lot of people had conversations saying that what's wrong with this younger generation. And it don't matter. You can be a father, you can raise your daughter, but if she still picks this type of man, then does it really matter if you being a great father? So it just started up a lot of conversations. And I thought it would be a good point to segue into our, gender role, and just wanted to get y'all thoughts on it.
So, what made you interested in that topic? Starting with you.
It like you said, because the topic was gender role. So being a father figure, and raising your daughter, and her being raising in a privileged background and having a consistent father figure. Now she's grown enough to get out here in the world to interact with men, and she's saying, "Daddy, I want a sugar daddy." Like, how do you feel about wait a minute, I raised my daughter, I try to give the best that I can. Now she wants to, go the opposite way or look straight.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. My take on that is I'm not really surprised. Because I see a lot of young women out here with older men. They call them zaddies.
Zaddies, okay.
You see some dudes with older women. So I get it. I understand it. But she is beautiful, and I guess what makes it interesting is that she don't really need to do that, considering who your father is. But man, you can raise a kid in a perfect household, great parents, money and all that. But at the end of the day, she's an adult and she's going to make her own decisions. So I'm not really surprised. It's almost like saying you and your brothers or you and your siblings grew up in the same household, but you went right, but they went left. Same household, same teaching, same everything. At the end of the day, it's a choice. You know what I mean? Obviously, something in her heart told her to do that. And who knows? We don't know what that old man offering her. He may be off the chain. For whatever reason, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
They already broke up.
Huh?
They already broke up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what the word is. And it seems like she's just accustomed to a lifestyle.
Right, and maybe he's a rich guy who provides that lifestyle, and maybe Russell was like, "Okay, you grown, I'm gonna cut it off now." You know what I mean?
I guess my point is, yes, she's accustomed to a lifestyle. Her father and her mother provided that for you, but why go against the grain of what your father worked his butt off to
classic
provide for
American
you?
story, rebellion.
Where's this mindset coming from? What?
What if it's? Let me ask you this: what if it's curiosity? You know what? Perfect household. I know what's right for me, but you know what? It's almost like saying, my mom tell me, "Don't touch that hot stove because it's hot." But I'm a kid. I'm curious. Why? She don't want me to touch that stove because it's hot, but I'm curious. I just want to touch it. And that stove can be a representation of that old man. It could be the hose. It could just be dipping in something that I shouldn't be dipping myself into. I'm going to be a little curious. I may say.
Or she noticed that's how her mom moved. Because that came up. That's why her mom had an issue with it.
And we don't know her upbringing.
It's a huge age gap between Kimora and Russell. So, and for us women, I've noticed among me and a lot of my friends, we move how our moms moved with men.
Yeah, and the mom has bounced around from one high value man to the next.
And we don't know her upbringing. We don't know what she's been through. And just because people are born in rich families don't necessarily mean that it's all candy canes and grapes. It's really not. Money can't build character. It can't raise a great household. Those are skills you have to ingrain in a person. So I mean, you just never know, man. But not surprised at all.
Not surprised.
So hey, maybe she need White Zaddy. Maybe White Zaddy provide her with something that ain't nobody else doing. But hey, praise be to God. if that's what she want to do out here. But that is an interesting point. Sometimes you can be a great parent, but at the end of the day, we have our choices. A person gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. Let's just keep it a big. Yeah. People gonna do what they want to do. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Am I wrong for that? We're gonna do what we want to do.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. Keep it a big. And we may even know. Here's the crazy part about it. We may even know what's the right thing to do. but we just say, you know what? I get it. I ain't supposed to eat that pork chop, but I'm gonna eat that goddamn pork chop because that's what I want to eat. You know what I mean? But man, great stuff, man. But before we get out of here, man, I need one word to sum up today's topic, man. I want to leave the audience with something, man. I'm gonna start with Dr. V, then I'm gonna work my way around. Let's end with on a good note. Have
a conversation about gender roles. Don't assume that person has the same perspective of gender roles that you do.
Good stuff. Peace.
Just respecting one another and just having that respect level, regardless of if you fumbling with gender roles or income thresholds, classism, all of that. I think end of the day, regardless of who earns more than the other, who has more esteem and credentials than the other, as long as both the man or the woman, if they wanted to decide to get with each other and they respect each other as a man and as a woman, then it can't work. So that's what I say.
I'm gonna end on this note. When it comes to gender roles, it varies as far as your everyday man and woman. So everybody comes from different upbringings, different backgrounds. But back to what Dr. V said, it's all about having a conversation. Meet the person where they are. See where the person's at with that. See if you guys are compatible, because they're not wrong for how they view gender roles. No one's really wrong. You only know what you know, and you're only going to do what you're programmed to do. So at the end of the day, have the conversation, talk, but also give each other that respect too. Everybody's not for you. Everybody's not aligned on the same page. But I do think with gender roles, there is a man and woman out there there is somebody out there that can work on your program or can do what you want them to do, or can kind of fit with what culture or whatever your upbringing is to form a new household, whether it's traditional versus modern, or even incorporating both of them. But at the end of the day, with gender roles, man, it's just all about just having that conversation. Keon Taylor, we just finished doing another episode of Chocolate Conversations podcast. Thank you guys again for rocking with us for a little over an hour. It's been a long show. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment, because you guys' comments matter. Without you guys, there's no us. Until next time.